All right. On location today, just wanted to get started and say welcome everyone. This is just a recorded review for your study. I will continue to see you guys in class, but hope this helps with your check-in questions. We were supposed to discuss, or you guys were discussing the functions of skin. Let's talk about and break down those functions of skin. This is skin layers and their functions. Okay. The lesson objective for today is list the skin's three major layers, their sublayers, and their functions. Okay. It says healthy skin is free of any visible sign of disease, infection, and injury. What you'll see, a lot of the chapter has already been highlighted for key areas for you to study, and also it has been bookmarked. So anytime you guys want to go and have just additional support, just open up the ebook. Okay, open up the ebook and you'll be able to see those highlighted areas. Those are signs that I'm telling you, you're going to see this again, and this is what you should be studying. Okay, as we discussed yesterday, as the body's largest organ, the skin, it is composed of three main components. You got the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous tissue, subcutaneous layer, which is very important. And the skin grows with us. Okay, so the skin grows with us. What I mean by that is, as you age, your skin also goes through a level of maturity. Okay, and so as you age, skin begins to age. We begin to preserve and maintain the uh, the great texture, smoothness, condition of the skin, its tone. We do all of that in what we call skin maintenance, daily maintenance, whether it's a facial, whether it's a bath, whether it's a spa treatment, whether it's a massage. All of that are great benefits to help maintain our skin. But remember, as we grow, our skin also begins to mature as well. So you would need to take care of yourself and also the skin that you are in. All right. Let's go. I may have picked the wrong place for a study, but here we go. Let's look at these layers of skin, begin to break them down. We'll begin to go over them intensively in the next couple of days. It says the epidermis is the outermost and thinnest layer of the skin. It contains no blood vessels. Okay, got that? It contains no blood vessels and it does not have many small nerve endings, but it does have many small endings. Okay, so the epidermis is what we see, that's what we touch, that's what you can see. It's very thin. Okay, it contains no blood vessels, but it does have many small nerve endings, which means you're able to sense a lot. There's a lot of sensors on that particular layer that you see. The epidermis is made up of five layers called, let's see, stratum. Okay, so let's look at the epidermis. So it is a thin layer, and then it's a sub layer also, and it's made up of five layers. Okay, the corneum, lucidium, granulosa, spinosum, okay, and germinative. All right, those are the five layers of the epidermis. All right, so this is a great diagram for you to look at. Then comes the dermis. This is where we begin to see blood vessels. Okay, uh, from the dermis, let's look at our different layers and just learn about the skin. So the corium is known as the horny layer, okay, of the epidermis layer, and is what we see when we look at the skin. It has overlapping skin cells and form a barrier to protect underlying tissues. What are we protecting it from? Infection, dehydration, chemicals, and mechanical stress. Man, just doing too much. Mechanical stress is like you're doing too much on the skin. You're kind of wearing the skin out. The cells are continuously being shed and replaced by cells rising to the surface from the skin sublayers. As you age, this is basically skin repair. And as you age, the skin repair does start to slow down. This is why we start now in maintaining, incorporating um, procedures and different things we do, like facial treatments, chemical peels, things of that nature, to help preserve our skin and replace, rejuvenate those cells. The faster those cells can repair themselves, the thicker the skin can become. Okay, the skin will start to rejuvenate. It'll be restored. You won't have that drying. You won't have that overly drying skin as well. And so we want to make sure that the sternum corium, what we see, is always in great condition. Okay, our body sheds these dead skin cells daily, continuously. Okay, and so you want to make sure when you see where it's like rejuvenating, restoration, skin cell repair, all of that is talking about rebuilding. And what one particular category that this is essential in is for those individuals who may have signs of aging, such as wrinkles, saggy skin, sunburn can really age the burn. Just the recovery of it can really age the skin as well. So those individuals that will fall in that category, I would definitely. It's even a more case of making sure that the skin repair is just continual. Okay, so get rid of that old skin, and so new skin can come to the surface. Remember, we got to make sure we are protecting the underlying skin, the underlying tissues. Those other layers have to be protected from infection, dehydration, chemicals, and then mechanical stress. Okay. The cortium is made up of keratin. Keratin is a protein. All right. Yes, keratin. Keratin is a fibrous protein that is also the principal component of skin. Keratin helps make up the hair, skin, and nails. I tell people all the time when someone tells me that the hair is over processed, the hair is breaking, that means the keratin has broken down in that particular area. Once the keratin breaks down, you can attempt to rebuild it, but if you're not able to rebuild it, you will that hair pretty much will have to be cut off, and you will have to start all over. Okay, keratin is found in the skin, strengthens the skin. Found in the nails, it strengthens the nails, and it also strengthens the hair. Think of things like keratin protein treatments. If you've heard of that before, it makes the hair really look like glass. Brazilian blowout. If you heard of those particular ones before, yeah, this is where we are. Okay. The cortium cells combine with lipids, which are fats, produced by the skin to help make it a protective, water resistant layer, which a lot of times those blowout treatments, those keratin treatments, include you using heat to straighten hair instead of using relaxers and other chemicals and things of that nature. Using heat and the products, and the water does not cause the hair to revert. But the more you use the water, the more curl that will come back into the hair. But the more you use the water, the more curl that will come back into the hair. And so, but literally, your hair becomes water resistant. Okay, your silk outs, your hair stays straighter longer. The complex of lipids between the cells is known as the barrier function. It keeps the skin moist by preventing water evaporation, guarding against irritants, penetrating the skin surface, and helping to regulate the skin pH. So keratin becomes this really um, powerful barrier function. Okay, keep skin moist by preventing water evaporation, so the hair does not become dry, and it helps regulate the skin pH. Stratum lucidium, clear, translucent layer under the stratum corneum. It consists of small cells through which light can pass. So it's like a translucent layer. This layer is located only on the palms of the hands, soles of the feet, and digits. Okay. So lucidium, palms of the hands, soles of the feet, and fingers. Okay. Transparent layer of skin. And this in which light can pass through it. Granuloceum, okay, also known as the granular layer, is the layer of the epidermis composed of cells that look like granules, like sugar. Okay, their granules are filled with keratin. The cells die as they are pushed to the surface to replace dead cells. Ah, that shed from the cornea. So here we go. The granuloceum comes in and pushes its way up, and this is the replacement of the dead cells from the top of the surface. Amazing. Okay, so we have to make sure this layer is always amazing because it's always preparing and pushing that next level. Okay, spinosum, also known as the spiny layer, is just above the stratum germinativum. This is where the shedding begins, and it begins to really push up. Okay, it's the largest layer of the epidermis. Here we go with the germinative. Now, this is the key, the key, the key, the key, the key. We're gonna go yellow on here. Okay, welcome in. We're in our study, we're in our recording. Just jump back on. All right, you're in on the best part. All right, so when you look at this layer of skin, we went over the functions of the skin. And now we're talking about the layers of the epidermis, okay? So here's one of the most important parts. There's a layer of the epidermis called the stratum germinative, okay? Commonly known as the basal cell layer. Now listen to me. This is the deepest layer of the epidermis. The deepest layer of the epidermis, okay? This is the living layer, all right, where everything starts or where it begins, where it germinates, okay? So this is where life comes in, okay? This is where things begin. The layers of the skin, they start here and you start working yourself up, okay? It starts working itself up. You get new skin is replaced all the time. So when I say working itself up, when you take a bath, you see the dead skin around the ring of the bathtub. That's old dead skin cells. When you wash your face, you come off with this dirt on your from your face, old dead skin cells. Okay, so your new skin is being produced while you are constantly wiping away those dead skin cells. Okay, so you have new skin continuously. Your layers, which is very amazing. It's always working. Something is always working. So we come to this particular layer, okay? They call it the basal cell layer. It's the deepest layer of the epidermis, okay? It's the fifth layer of the epidermis, but also this is where everything begins to start, all right? Let me tell you this. Most time, people are buying products for dark spots, buying products for things going on with their skin, to help different things. But let me tell you, if those products cannot penetrate to this layer, layer five, okay, the basal layer, If those products cannot penetrate down to this level, we are not doing much to the skin. Okay? This is where things begin. This layer produces new epidermal skin cells. So new scales are produced in this level. The products that you're using to improve your skin, they must touch this level. Because if the skin is regenerating itself here, what you want is for the ingredients to engulf itself, marry itself with the new skin. So as the skin begins to push up and be replaced, you have this amazing new fresh skin. Okay, with no dark spots or things of that nature. That's what I want people to understand. Don't just buy product just to be buying product, but and don't just rub it on the surface. That's only one or two layers. Okay, we need to go deeper. We need to go deeper. All right, so here we go. The basal cell layer contains special cells called melanocytes. Okay, here we go with melanocytes. Melanocytes, what this means is melano is melanin, your skin color, your skin pigment. Okay, cytes is called cells. So melanocytes is skin pigment cells. It gives each one of us our color to our skin. Okay, the only people that do not have color to their skin are Europeans. Everybody else has color to their skin. Everybody in the world has the same number of melanocytes. You might say, Miss Cox, what? Yes, everybody has the same number of melanocytes. Okay. Everybody has the same number of melanocytes. But there's only certain individuals, people of color, that those cells produce melanin. So Europeans, who we would consider Caucasian white, they have the same number of melanocytes, melanin cells like we do, but their cells just do not produce melanin. They don't produce melanin. Okay. All right. Melanocytes study again is called melanin cells, basically your skin pigment. Okay, which produce skin pigment called melanin. Okay, melanin is amazing. It's a great benefit to the skin. Melanin protects the sensitive cells in the dermis. So melanin comes out as a protector. It's a coverer for that next part of the next sublayer of skin, the dermis. So melanin comes out and it protects the sensitive cells in the dermis, all right, located below the epidermis from the destructive effects of excessive UV. So what happens, you go all the way down to the bottom of your epidermis, you'll find melanin. Okay, melanin comes out to protect the dermis. Okay, melanin comes out as a protector. All right, it begins to protect us from the sun. Before you even know it, the melanin is being produced to protect you from harmful, excessive UV light. Okay, when people go tanning, they're trying to imitate the melanin. Okay, but most individuals already have melanin, and that melanin is already working to protect them from harmful sun rays. Okay, most likely individuals that have melanin will not burn from sunscreen as much as those who have not, who do not have melanin. Okay, looking at the dermis. Also called the derma, or the true skin, the cutis corneum. As we look at the dermis, it is not, we moved from the epidermis, now we're moved into the dermis. Okay. Now, the dermis is very, very important because within the dermis, you have blood vessels, you have lymph vessels, you have nerves, you have sweat glands, you have oil glands, and this is where the hair follicle, mm, it lies. All right. This is where it generates it, and it goes all the way up. This is also where you have the erectile pillar muscle. Okay. The dermis has two layers. All right. One, the superficial layer, and the deeper layer, the reticular layer. Okay. This is where you'll find the fine capillaries and nerve endings and things of that nature. You'll also find the hair papilla. Okay. You'll also find the hair papilla. This is a very important area. Okay. This is where our blood flow comes. Also, this layer helps. Um, this is where we're going to find nutrients for our hair, skin, and nails to grow. Okay. So yeah, we talked about the skin that we see, and then we know there's five layers of the epidermis. Now that we move over to the dermis, you know that there's a layer where our follicle lies, our erectile pillar muscle lies, our sebaceous glands, our oil glands, all of that lies in those particular areas, and our sweat glands. So many things that is connected to hair. So the hair you see, every strand you see, it goes deeper than what you really see on the top layer of skin. Okay, it goes deeper. This is why we have. We always want to know your ingredients, product penetration. We talked about rosemary yesterday, how it opens up, dilutes, and allows you to go in. And the product, rosemary, actually goes to this area. Okay, and so you'll find hair start to feed off of things in this area. All right, the hair papilla becomes like a bridge, a straightway. Okay, in order for nutrients to come through that follicle, it must come through the base of that hair root, and that is and follicle, that is the hair papilla. Okay, it's at the bottom of the follicle. And what are erectile pillar muscles? I'm going to put this in yellow. Erectile pillar muscles are small involuntary muscles that attach diagonally to the side of the hair follicle. So you can have a hair follicle, and if you stretch your arm out, that will become your erectile pillar muscle. Every hair that you see has a muscle, the erectile pillar muscle attached to it. Okay, every hair strand you see has an erectile pillar muscle attached to it. Got it? Um, as we begin to look at all of the hairs on the head. And when someone says, "Oh, my hair just stood up off my hair just stood up off my arm," or you get goosebumps, that allows your hair stands up off your skin. The erectile pillar muscle is stimulated by coldness. Okay, they're stimulated by cold. Um, Someone said, "Oh, I'm just so cold." And also, check this out: when someone is scared, okay, whenever you feel like you're getting goosebumps, that's that erectile pillar muscle being stimulated, and it's connected. There's a The body is an amazing machine, and it is connected to each hair follicle. So you see hair on your legs, hair on your arms, hair underneath your arms. Um, Hair on your head, your chest, all of those strands have sebaceous gland connected to it, which is an oil gland, and also has a sweat gland connected to it. Also, it has an erectile pillar muscle connected to it. So a lot of cool stuff. Subcutaneous tissue is the hypodermis. This is known as fatty tissue. Guys, Fatty tissue contain energy. Okay. As someone ages, I also said that their skin matures and ages as well. And so this subcutaneous tissue, we don't like it. A lot of times, like for me, I had fatty cheeks, right? So when individuals, aunts and stuff used to just hold your cheekbones, that's just fatty tissue. It's just fatty tissue. Then know that as you get older, you want that fatty tissue because it keeps that roundness, that youthfulness of the face. We need fatty tissue because we have our bones. Our muscles cover those bones and attach and help give movement. But then that fatty tissue helps give curvature to the body. Okay? That fatty tissue, it holds energy. We call it adipose tissue as well. And so when individuals who are on their nutrition journey and they're talking about metabolism levels and things at that level, they also have to talk about this fatty tissue. Okay. It can hold in a lot. Okay. It varies in thickness according to an individual's age, its gender, and general health. So let's look at that fatty tissue. Here's a great diagram, and it shows your five epidermis layers. It shows your um, dermis layer, shows this hair follicle, papilla, nerve ending. But also, here you go on the right hand side, subcutaneous hypodermis tissue. It is a fatty tissue. Um, Many people take diet pills and shots and things like that to diminish this tissue. Okay, but some fatty tissue is really good. But you see this fatty tissue here, then you see the veins and the arteries. Okay, this is a health precaution as well. If you have too much fatty tissue, you start to clog these up. You start to block and clog these up. You don't want to do that because um, the veins, artery, capillaries all have a function with the circulatory system, and it incorporates the heart. Okay, and so we can have a great education session about clients, but I love fatty tissue, and when you look at it in the face, it's being evolved. Every 10 years, there's some different facial um, cosmetics saying that they can do this, they can do that to the skin, some cosmetic procedures as well. But when, as a person matures, this fatty tissue starts to diminish a little bit, or if many individuals who cross hormones, they would say they want something like fillers. So you find a lot of individuals who want fillers. And if you get fillers too early, you start to look older. But many individuals say they want fillers. Fillers would them in they would be injecting the fat. They would be injecting to make that tissue or those areas of the face more fatty. Okay, a lot of times when individuals are healing from scars or lasering, they will use fillers as well to kind of even out the skin underneath. As a person weight shifts, okay, sometimes that artificial fat will be shifted as well. So this is why a lot of times people say the natural way to lose weight, exercise, watching what you eat is almost like the healthiest way and less expensive way. Okay, but fillers are very, very popular. Okay. When we look at the nerves that affect the skin, we're gonna pause at this point here as we study the functions, study the different layers, studying the nerves that affect the skin. You got motor nerves and sensory nerves. Okay, motor nerves are impulses from the brain and spinal cord to the muscles. Okay, the nerves stimulate the muscles. All right, such as what I was just telling you about the goosebumps and the rectipular muscle. The and the next pair of motor nerves attached to sweat glands and oil glands. They secrete. These are called secretory nerve fibers. So they don't need our permission to do that. They just naturally push oil and push sweat out to the bottom, to the top. Okay. Oil is called sebum. All right. So some people have oily skin. Some people have normal skin. Some people have dry skin. All of that tells me how much sebum, how much oil your body produces. When we look at skin pigments, we are talking that term melanin again. Okay, when we're dealing with skin, hair, nails, you are going to see melanin. That is the color pigment. Okay, produced by the melanin cells, and then deposited into the cells at the germinative layer of the epidermis, okay, and papillary layers of the dermis, which means before the hair is even created, okay, the beginning of that creation, when you have that cell that's going to create hair, it's going to pick up color. So that's one of the first thing it does. It's going to pick up color and it's begin to build things from there, and then it grows out of the skin. All right. And so melanin comes in fair, medium, dark, light, medium, dark, if someone's want to say it. This is people determine hair color. They build product from hair color, cosmetics, makeup, things of that nature, eye color. Melanin has a great place in cosmetology and also in aesthetics based on a person's melanin. To me, if I'm an esthetician, based on a person's melanin, is going to help me determine what cosmetics to use on them. Okay, what facial products, how often do I educate this client about being out in the sun? Can the client even take the sun? I can look at a person's eye color, okay, and skin color, and it will give me more information about where they're from before they even open up their mouth. Okay, I use the information from the eye color and skin color to determine what type. What is that? What is that? The Fitzpatrick scale. So I use that to determine where they are on the Fitzpatrick scale, and that helps me understand their true melanin, so I can build a hair color formula for them. So melanin is something we're going to continuously learn about because you got to know where you are in order to know where you're going. So if you ever want to do hair color, you ever want to do makeup, you're going to be learning about melanin continuously. Here's the key component: the strength and flexibility of the skin. You're talking about building collagen, building protein, but also building elasticity. Okay? Building collagen, protein, and elasticity. So you have a lot of people who take additional vitamins and things of that nature, and they take collagen, they put it in their powders to drink, and they take elastin, okay, B12, things of that nature. These things come in, and if you can prep your skin and work that it works from skin and hair, and that it works from the inside out, you're gonna always have this youthful looking skin because collagen and elasticity. Okay, elastic little noise, but the elasticity of the skin is the ability of the skin hair to stretch and return without breaking. Okay, as the skin ages, okay, we lose elasticity as well. So what you need to do is continue to preserve. If you have tight skin, no wrinkles, you should continue to preserve this until, okay, you see, and it's not like something that you stop. It's never something that you stop doing, because the moment that you stop preserving, maintaining, getting facials, upward massage, the moment that you stop, you'll see your skin start to fall into that aging concept of you'll have sagging skin, wrinkles, things of that nature, and you'll have to work to tighten that skin back up in those areas. So tell your people now, if you want to drink your collagen, you want to put it on your food. I know Black Girl Vitamins have collagen, elastin. Get your vitamins in now. Tell your parents, tell whoever you got to tell. Get your skin. The melanin is already a great protector, but it's not it by its can't do it all by itself. So make sure if you don't do anything else, you're getting your collagen in, you're getting your elasticity in, And that's simply maintaining the skin. Okay, that's maintaining the skin, making sure your vitamins are in, and this is going to keep your skin tight. It's going to keep it right. All right, y'all. This was just a short recording session. I probably did this study session in the wrong place, but I'm gonna RSVP it, send it over to you. If you need anything else, let's remember.